Yo, what's up boys, and welcome back to another DayZ Standalone video. This one is going to be delving into some top meme drama, which you're probably wondering, I've already seen this on Silo's channel, and I've already seen it on fucking General Sam's channel. Why are you making another video on this problem, which people have already talked about? You can check out their videos in the description if you do so desire. This video is obviously influenced by them, but my channel has been very fondly following the mod. Back in 2012, I was one of the first YouTubers to make a video on it, and then after that, obviously, I followed Standalone until its release in late 2013. I expected this video game, Standalone, to be a big part of my channel. I used to have it on my headers, and ever since it came out, it just didn't really tickle my fancy. And I think the game in its current state in 2017 has definitely defied the expectations of the public and also the development team behind the game itself, Bohemia Interactive. Anyway, without blabbering on too much, let's talk a bit about the original roadmap for Standalone in 2014. At the end of 2014, they released this roadmap, which I've looked through all these points, and I can tell you how many are actually in the game right now. I'll highlight the ones which are actually in game right now, and it's pretty shocking that a roadmap which was supposed to be all these features done in 2015 is still less than 50% complete, even when it is now 2017, almost 2 years, I guess, technically later. In case you're curious as to how many exactly that is, there's 10 points which are highlighted, and in total there's 27 points which they wanted to be added by the end of 2015. And again, just in case you forgot, it's fucking 2017. I don't know how people still defend this game to this date, as General Sam also said. Bohemia did end up responding in the comment section of General Sam's video, which I doubt they will in this video. And don't get me wrong, I like Bohemia. I play that game armor-free on the reg. I just don't understand how a game can be so overhyped, which most of it was created by the user base, but so overhyped and under-delivering, really, with all of those talking points. This is a comment which Bohemia ended up leaving on his video, though, which mentions that they do have 60 employees, which is by no means a small amount of people working on the game, but compared to games like Rust, which I don't know the exact figures, but I'm pretty sure there's no more than 20 people working on Rust who managed to bring out weekly dev blogs with pictures, and I don't know, there's always something interesting in each week. Compared to that, which is somewhat of a similar game, you can't just use the excuse of, oh, well, video games take a long time to make. It's been out and in development for many years. 2013 December is when it came out. That's almost 4 years since its original release. In case you're delusional as fuck and you think the game is underdeveloped because the funding hasn't been there, you can see right there, it has sold just shy of 4 million copies. Even if the game hadn't sold a metric shit ton, of course it is being developed by Bohemia, which have got assets and money as it is. So you really can't use that argument as an excuse to why DayZ is the way it is today. And I'm not saying, to go back on my previous point, that 60 is a lot of people to be working on a game, but there's definitely some development studios out there which could have been hired as third-party help. The money's there, so why not, right? But instead, they stuck in fucking Czech Republic and hired all the epic game developers in there and ended up with this amazing game that they have today. And I know they do have some workers who aren't all from Czech Republic, like Brian Hicks, who, I love you, Hicks. Please don't hate me after I made this video. Not that he was necessarily working on, you know, the engine side or anything like that on the game. But I still do feel like with money like that, the money was put in the wrong fucking pockets. And that is one of the biggest things which has made the game the way it is today. It's not fucking terrible, it's okay. The 0.6 patch, which by the way is one of the two major patches which came out in 2016, which is it's a pretty cool fact right there, compared to the previous years when it was a lot more. I get 0.6 was big, but still. But it's just kind of shocking, and reminds me a bit of H1Z1, John Smedley saying, oh yeah, we're going to add parts to a map, it's going to be as big as America. DayZ reminds me of that. Rocket was talking about how there's going to be 150 players per server back in 2012 when I talked to him at Rezzed, and still to this day we've got, what, 50, maybe 60 people per server, I really don't know, but nowhere near 150, because you know what, it lags like fucking shit. And then there's also the claim of, oh yeah, there's going to be modding in soon, which could be cool, right? We could have Namas, we could have more than one map, Shinaris, which I don't know why they expanded the map and made it bigger when there's hardly anyone per server as it is. People don't explore these new areas which have spent hundreds of hours on. I get it, games cost a lot of money and take time to develop, especially one with such a big idea of having this massive open world with zombies and loot, which a lot of those things don't really work too well. But regardless of those facts, does it make everything I've mentioned in the video with the deadlines for the game excusable? I don't really think so. And if anyone's got some solid excuses, you know, make sure to leave them in the comments so that way people can get angry at you. Or maybe I'll be like, damn, dude, you're a fucking genius. But either way, you shouldn't say things which aren't true. And that's happened time and time again with DayZ. Not quite to the extent of H1Z1, which I don't understand how King of the Kill is third most popular game on Steam right now, considering they have such a shady past with John Smedley and SOE. But regardless, I don't know, it made money and people like it, so that's all that matters, right? Unfortunately, DayZ, although it did make money, people don't really like it right now. For a long time, I stuck around just watching DayZ, looking at the DayZ dev blogs and being like, whoa, a fucking new Bison, and just waiting for something amazing to happen. And maybe it will eventually happen. Maybe somehow all their assets are being worked into this magical new engine, and it's going to work out a-okay in the end. And Bohemia, in the original comment, looking back at that again, have said that we are going to complete the game. We are going to make it go into beta eventually, albeit it wasn't in 2015, maybe in 2016, we'll see, and eventually be a final product, which is maybe no longer going to be updated and be left in the hands of the modders. I guess we'll see. I hope it is, but still, Bohemia still do have a lot to say about all of these crazy things when you think about them, when they really haven't kind of made solid excuses for them past the fact that they were internal deadlines, and that that doesn't reflect the final outcome. Whether it's an internal deadline or an external deadline, you shouldn't publicly tell the public. Publicly tell the public? That makes sense. You shouldn't tell the public, oh yeah, these are our roadmaps, these are our goals, unless you are going to at least come close to them, which clearly from earlier on we can see they came nowhere near accomplishing what they wanted to accomplish. They were very, very optimistic. And I understand not everyone works on the, you know, in the game in a sense of being able to do everything. You've got the art team, you've got people who are working on the engine, you've got people who do different things in the development team. But I still feel like these outcomes are inexcusable. Going back to think about Rust again, the original mode, which we now know as Legacy, which no longer exists, but regardless, it was influenced by DayZ and a few other games. The guy who made it, Gary Newman, who now has made Facepunch Studios a lot more successful than it used to be, although it was still successful. That game was influenced very heavily by DayZ, the mod, of course. His game exists purely because of DayZ. There's been many shit games, but Rust is definitely one which is doing well on Steam. DayZ, not so much, but that game was influenced by DayZ. But I feel like they spent the money right. They didn't have to have a million different developers, but they had a scope, and they have done very well for what they wanted to make. They even remade the entire game, going from Legacy to the experimental branch, which is now the game people know and love today, and it's doing very well on YouTube and Steam. And also, it has more sales than DayZ, in case you're wondering. You would have guessed. This video is not meant to be me jerking over Rust. If you guys don't know me, which you probably haven't watched it to this point in the video if you don't watch my stuff regularly, but I don't even play Rust. I do like it. I just know you need to invest a lot of time to get into it. But that game, and I guess PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, is a very good, I guess, kind of game which has a similar scope, which has been in development for less time than DayZ. In fact, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I think, has been in development for just over a year and a half. Jack Frags said less than 9 months in his video. I think it's been in development for long. But either way, if you guys seen the alpha of that game, which had an NDA on it, that game has came so far. It was fucking trash in its alpha, but now, just a year and a bit later, they have a pretty solid game. One of the best Battle Royale games that I've ever played. You know, PlayerUnknown obviously made the original Battle Royale popular in Arma 2 and Arma 3. So it's good to see. But it's cool to see that, you know, making a game not suck dick, even in a short amount of time as possible, but then even on a longer time span with Rust on Unity, that can also work out very well, whilst also having a procedurally generated map, but also a beautiful and pretty good running game, I guess I can say, for both Rust and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. My point of comparing DayZ to those other two games is it's not impossible to make the game good. It's not impossible to make it the pinnacle of the survival genre. It is definitely one of the better survival games out there, but I still do feel like the money could have definitely been spent to make the game a lot better and just develop a lot quicker, which would have been pretty cool. Regardless, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say on DayZ. I'm sure there's some more facts you can bring up, and you could probably make the game seem like it's been developed even more shoddily than I've already proven in this video. Although I do have definitely some similar points to the two videos which I mentioned earlier. Hopefully I did show you guys some stuff which maybe you didn't know about. And I definitely think with time, the game, if it continues to be developed by Bohemia, which was no reason for them to disappear considering they still do actively develop Arma 3 and they've done a good job there. This is not a fuck Bohemia video. Please don't ban me from all of your video games, guys. Otherwise I'll have no job. That would suck. But yeah, with time, they can definitely develop it and make it what they originally wanted it to be. It's definitely never going to have the same old feel that the Arma 2 DayZ mod did have to it. I don't know what really makes the Arma 2 DayZ mod feel that way. And I feel like if people seen them literally just replicated on a new engine, everyone would say, oh my god, this is exactly the fucking same. But instead, they try to do something a bit different with farming and all of this weird shit in the game. And now people are complaining that it's not like the Arma 2 DayZ mods. I'm not going to make that point in this video, although I do definitely prefer Arma 2 DayZ mod to Standalone with the 0.6 patch and the future player movement patch 0.63, where we're going to be changing that so it's not as clunky and shit like that. I'm sure it's a game I'll go back and check out, and once modding's in, then that's even more stuff to check out. So I'm by no means saying the game's shit, although I have kind of said that already. I just I don't know what the fuck's going on. And ignoring the fact of overhype, which was admittedly mostly generated by the user base, more so than the developers, and things like the roadmap seemingly ending up being lies and a few other statements which have happened in the past, the game, like I said, isn't terrible, but it is still incredibly buggy, incredibly desyncy. There's still less zombies in this than there is in the mod. We aren't even talking about those issues which really should have been fixed by this point. I understand the game which is actively being developed and it's alpha, it's going to have bugs. But you guys don't know if you've ever played DayZ before. It's definitely one of the buggiest games out there. It's not like that can be used as an excuse either, saying, oh, well, the game, although it's been developing very slowly, is polished within, you know, a fucking inch of its life. It's amazing. There's nothing which doesn't work in it. The game runs amazingly. It does actually run pretty good. But yeah, it is still definitely lacking in every department, whether it's features in terms of what they've promised, and also in the functionality of the game with how buggy it is. Some people end up losing their virginity to people that we rather they wouldn't have. I definitely lost my virginity to DayZ, literally. And I don't know, I want my virginity back. Hopefully this answers the question of why don't you play DayZ, though, to some people. Although I'm sure you guys aren't asking that. Most Twitch streamers and YouTubers have kind of ended up going to something else, playing those Battlegrounds, Rust, whatever else. Playing DayZ on YouTube and Twitch just kind of isn't a good idea if you do want to potentially continue your job for more than 1 month. Anyway, feel free to leave what you think in the comment section below. If I've said anything which was wrong, feel free to correct me. Or if you got any other interesting facts about Bohemia, DayZ, or whatever else, leave that in the comment section below. Alright, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and all good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. And it's a bit of a shame you guys won't see the rest of these frags in this video. There were some pretty epic frags, but it's okay.